Now, for more on all this and to help us understand this is J. Howard Henderson, President and CEO of the Greater Baltimore Urban League. First of all, welcome to the show and thank you for spending some time to us. Let me start with this. Explain to our international, it's great to have you on. Help us to understand to our international audience the relationship between economics, race, on this, these protests and also riots in Baltimore.
Well, there's no question that economics play a major role. One of the problems in Baltimore, and has been for a long time, is that the lack of opportunities for young African Americans. The issue has been as industries have closed down, like Bethlehem Steel and others, there has been no jobs that have been created which our community can participate in. Although Baltimore is a thriving economy, it's one of the great cities in America, no question about it. But the thriving economy has left the African American communities out of the process of being employed. So what we're talking about from the Urban League standpoint, we're always talking about preparing people for real jobs. So what the Urban League will be doing in the coming months, and certainly we mourn the passing of Freddie Gray, but we must look forward to what's going to happen to Baltimore in the future. So we'll be in the coming months sitting down with the business community, asking them to make a commitment to the young people in our community to invest in programs that will train them for real jobs. We're asking them to also to set aside a number of jobs for various communities in our city. The Sandtown Winchester community is not the only one that's under distress. Baltimore is suffering from many years of neglect in terms of the communities where the African Americans are housed. So one of the issues we're having now is how do we go up...
Mr. Henderson, let me just interrupt you there for a moment. I want you to listen to something that I spoke to an economist, Mr. Minerick, earlier about some of the possible solutions, and it goes along similar to what you're saying, but I want to get your reaction to this. Let's play that discussion right now.
Okay.
The underlying problem is a human problem. We have issues like that in urban centers. We have issues like that in rural areas. You have some rural parts of the country where the young people who go to school and have some smarts and are able to market themselves, the first thing they will want to do is move out. And so these rural areas become concentrations of older people. What we need to do in the urban areas, and this is a long-term project, we really have to look at our educational chain and start at the very beginning, which includes early childhood education. Take it all the way through and bring people along to being more successful in the marketplace. That's really the only way we're going to address those issues.
Mr. Henderson, to be fair, I want you to know my question to him at that time was it wasn't just about Baltimore, but it was about sort of the issues around the entire country in terms of the urban issues. I want to get your reaction to that.
No question. Well, no question, education is the key to the economic success. But I don't think it has to be a long-term strategy. If America and Baltimore is serious about making a difference in this community, we can make the investment that's necessary to deal with some of the issues that are facing our young people that are getting ready to graduate from school, high school, and those who already graduated with nothing to do. We can find the wherewithal if America decides to put their hand to the plow and make sure that they put the kind of investment that are necessary to make a difference. If we decided to send folks to the moon in a matter of seconds, and we were right behind when Russia decided to send Sputnik up, we were right behind them, and one didn't take a long-term investment. In a few years, we caught up. So if we want to make the kind of investment that's necessary to bring peace to all the American cities around the country and also to rural areas, because a lot of in rural areas where jobs have moved out and they're just not there, but there can be some investments made to make it possible for young people to get employment.
Mr. Henderson, I guess part of the frustration lies in what you're saying is not something new. I've heard this before. I guess the frustration is, why aren't we seeing cities doing more? Why aren't we seeing communities doing more? Where's the federal government? Where's the state? I mean, for those not familiar with the United States, there's plenty of layers of bureaucracy. What's it going to take to get things moving?
I think we're at that point. I think we are at the point when you have civil unrest in your community. The business community, if they are serious about Baltimore continuing to be a great American city, they have no other choice but to make the investment in the citizens that live in their city, and not making business opportunities for those folks who are coming from the suburbs to work in Baltimore and leaving Baltimore City, and therefore there is no solid tax base. So we need to make an investment in those people who are willing to stay in Baltimore so that they can participate in the emerging jobs that are coming online in our city.
For those around the world that may not be familiar with Baltimore per se, unfortunately, we're reminded by the awful pictures, but I want to remind people that the vast majority of protesters were peaceful. If you were speaking to international investors, what would you tell them about investing not just in Baltimore, but in other urban areas around the country?
Well, I'm not going to talk about other urban areas. I want them to invest in Baltimore. Baltimore has one of the greatest ports in the country. We have great highways. We have great railroads. So we are situated between Washington and New York and Philadelphia, the major population areas in the U.S. So Baltimore is a great city to invest in. We have one of the great airports at BWI International. So we have all the tools to service business. So I would like to ask them, don't give up on Baltimore. Baltimore still has a great future. So when you're thinking about investing, think about Baltimore first.
All right. Well, I mean, thank you very much for your time, Mr. Henderson, and of course, all the best this coming week. I know it's an important week that's coming up. You've got a great train museum there, by the way.